Hey everybody, Billy Aiken here. Welcome to day number 1 of your Financial Freedom Challenge. Now, today we're going to be talking about the Financial Freedom Framework. We're going to be looking at the overall strategy behind the challenge and where to go from here, and looking at all the tactics and the strategies behind it. We're also going to be looking at your financial situation. We're going to be looking at the current debt that you have, and just kind of getting you ready mentally to be able to launch this challenge specific to you, because everybody's situation is different. But one question I do have for you, and that is, what is financial freedom to you? Now, to a lot of people, it means something different. To me, it just means having peace of mind, having total control over my finances, not having the overall burden of so much debt weighing me down and feeling like that I'm literally just a slave to all of these creditors, to be able to just have freedom. That if I want to go take a vacation, if I want to be able to buy something for my son, if I want to buy something for my wife, then financially it's not, I can't afford it because I have to make all of my credit card payments. So financial freedom is kind of different for everybody, but the idea is pretty much the same. Number one, you need to be debt free. You can't be financially free if you are in a load of debt that is bringing you down. Now, we are going to be looking at what is considered bad debt and what is considered necessary debt. But to be truly financially free, you really do have to be debt free. Okay. Another thing that I believe financial freedom truly is being able to have peace of mind and total control over your income. Every penny that comes in that you earn, you have total control over it, and you are not handing your money to all of these creditors. That's what financial freedom really truly is, what it's all about. And that should be your ultimate goal. Now, really, there's two types of categories when it comes to debt. You've got consumer debt, and then you have everything else. Now, consumer debt is all of your credit cards, your store credit cards. You open up a card at Dillard's and you get, 15% off or something. And a lot of people take advantage of it, but what they don't realize is that it damages your credit every time you do that. And also, that's where a lot of people get in trouble. I remember my very first credit card was at Dillard's. That was my first one. I wanted a leather jacket. I was going to get, I think, 15 or 20% off. And I said, heck yeah. But looking back now, it was not worth it, because I ended up getting into trouble with that and not able to really pay it. But eventually I did pay it off. But I remember how frustrating it was that it wasn't worth a leather jacket. But credit card debt, furniture debt, a lot of people go into a lot of debt just to be able to furnish their home. And, personally for me, I hate to sit in my chair knowing that I don't own it, that technically somebody else does. If I don't pay that debt, they can come and get it. I like the idea that I own it, not the bank, not a credit card. Payday loans and personal loans, those are kind of considered consumer debt, and what we strongly encourage you in the Financial Freedom Challenge to stay away from, because that is the type of debt that is the average debt in the world that is dragging people down and making people struggle so much. Everything else is what's considered like your mortgage or your car payment, or maybe a business loan or student loans. Some of these might be considered necessary debt. Because you have to think about this, some of the other, gurus that are out there, the financial guys or ladies that are out there that teach financial, finances and all about debt and, all of that stuff, a lot, what do they teach is that, you need to be completely debt free. You need to pay cash for your car. You need to have your house paid off as fast as possible. And although those things may be true to an extent, the fact is that not everybody has $20,000 to go buy a car. So a lot of people have to kind of finance that so that they can have a decent car. Really, all the average person can really afford is maybe a $500 to a $5,000 vehicle, and a lot of times those are very unreliable, and it's kind of scary that you might break down and not make it to work, and then you don't get paid, and then you can't pay your car payment, or you can't pay your insurance and all your bills. But the whole idea is that sometimes there's necessary debt, but the entire idea behind being financially free is that you want to be debt free. So I wanted to kind of break down the differences between the debt that's out there, but there is such thing as really bad debt that you have got to stay away from. And credit cards is probably the #1 thing that's out there. All right. So the overall financial freedom challenge outline is very simple. What we're going to be looking at throughout the entire challenge is we're going to be looking at getting mentally prepared so that you can become successful, because if you don't get this right first, then you're setting yourself up to fail. Then we're going to be looking at setting up your budget. Now that one's kind of tough. Not a lot of people like to do a budget, but we're going to be looking at that. We're going to be looking at how to handle your debts. Specifically, which ones do you pay out first? Your biggest ones, your highest interest, your smallest debts, which ones do you pay first? We're going to be looking at that. We're going to be looking at setting up an emergency fund. Did you know that the average American does not have enough money in savings to cover a life-changing event, like a transmission going out in their vehicle or a major medical issue that comes up? Having an emergency fund is going to give you so much peace of mind. We're going to be looking at how to increase your income. The #1 reason why you look at all of the people out there in the world that are so excited that they pay off their debt and they are debt-free and they're doing their debt-free screams and they're holding up signs that they paid off, $52,362.59 in 4.3 years. The #1 reason it takes so long for them to accomplish that, and we're talking years for them to do that, is really simple. It's because they're limited by their income. That's what it comes down to. They're limited by their income. I'm going to show you in the challenge how to increase your income, even if you wish to have an additional part-time income or even replace your income. I'm going to show you how to do that so you can pay off your debt significantly faster. And most importantly, we are going to be looking at how to stop living in fear and to start living. Or it's kind of backwards, but to start living and stop living in fear. Because when you're under so much financial burden, you literally live in fear, especially if you're in a situation where you're not able to pay your debt and you're defaulting, and then all of a sudden you got creditors coming after you, lawsuits, garnishment of your wages, all kinds of really horrible things that just gives you so much burden and so much fear in your life. We're going to look at overcoming all of that. So what I want you to do right now is I want you to go to the video below, go to the tactics in the application, and we're going to be looking at your financial situation. You're going to fill out a form below, and we're going to be taking a look at where you are currently so that you have an idea of where you need to be. All right, so go ahead and jump down, go to the next section, go to tactics and application. See you on the next video.